Do you have a goal that is intimidating? One that really scares you? One that scares you so much that you may even procrastinate doing it. And when you start procrastinating, you start to get even more scared because that dream seems so big. It seems so impossible. And then you never do it. You never start working towards your goal. And then one day, you're going to sit back and you are going to regret that you never took action, that you never did that thing that scared you. I don't want that to happen to you. And that's why I'm here today, is to talk about goal setting and tools that I have used to help me move forward. My name is Dina Cataldo. I am a coach, the host of Soul Roadmap podcast. And what I do is help big dreamers make sure that they don't lose their dream, that they take action on it. Today, I want to talk to you about some mindset shifts that you can make if you have a goal that is just so big that it feels overwhelming. We're going to change how that feels in your body, and we're going to use some practical tools to make some shifts. All right, are you ready? I'm excited. All right, let's go. All right, so let's talk about these big goals. They are so huge that our brains have difficulty wrapping our mind around them. And our brain is actually made to protect us, right? Unfortunately, it's really great at doing things like protecting us from a rabid pack of wolves, but at the same time, it keeps us from doing things that we know we really, really want. Like we might have a giant goal like to climb a mountain, to run a marathon, to make $1 million. But our brain, because it's trying to protect us, wants to keep us comfortable. And when it keeps us comfortable, it also does something which keeps us in fear. And that fear is what is going to hold us back. And fear is normal. Fear is a good thing, right? It lets us know that our dreams are huge, that we're doing something that is going to help us grow. But it's also something that can hold us back if we're not actively staying aware of that fear and noticing what it's doing and how we can work through it. And we can snap out of it if we do a few things right. So first off, let's organize our thoughts. So I did episode number 13, dinacataldo.com/episode 13. And there I talk about how to discover your calling. Well, maybe you already have your calling. This will help you get clear though. And I've created a PDF download that you can get at that website, dinacataldo.com/episode 13, that will help you get super clear on exactly what you want. And when I mean clear, I mean crystal clear. I want you to be able to sense it. I want you to be able to smell it, see it, taste it. This is going to help get that feeling locked into our body. And the more we act from a place of already having what we desire, the more our brain relaxes into the idea, and it even starts helping us get what we want. Another thing that we can do is once we start writing down exactly what we want is to start thinking about why we want it. Because when we start thinking about our why, we're also getting our brain to remember, all right, this is something that's good for us. This is something that we should be working towards, and it helps keep us focused. It's funny how we start playing these little tricks on our brain and letting our brain know, hey, this is okay. What I'm doing is good. It's leading me towards growth. I'm not being chased by a rabid pack of wolves. I'm doing something for my future that I really want. Once you start getting clear and once you start figuring out your why, you can start figuring out some of the things that's going on in your brain. So if you're resisting any of this right now, it's that fear taking over. If you're resisting going to download that, you're resisting writing down what you want and thinking through exactly what you want, there's some fear there. What is that fear? So it's time to get curious. And so that third step is to get curious about what's going on in your brain. Why are you scared? So there is really one thing that this all boils down to, and that's that fear of being good enough And it's funny what our brain does. Our brain starts with, you know what, I'm scared because I don't know if I can do it. And then if you really start diving down, you start thinking, well, what will my friends say? And what will my coworkers say? What will my family say? Then if you really think about it and ask yourself why you have that fear, the real fear is what if they're right? What if they're right and I can't do this? What if they're right and I don't have what it takes? Well, they're not right. Your dream is your dream. It's not their dream. They may never understand it, but it doesn't matter. You're the one who lives with your regrets. And do you want to be 10 years from now, 5 years from now, even 1 year from now, regretting that you never took action, that you never started just taking one step at a time? Because that's what we're asking ourselves to do right now, is to take one step. All right. So I want to talk about my favorite tool right now. So this is the fourth thing in this grouping of things that we can do to start going towards our goals. And the 90X Goal Planner, I don't represent the gentleman who creates it or anything. I am just a big fan. And I've linked to it. It's an Amazon affiliate link, but I don't have any relations with the gentleman who owns the thing, who actually created the 90X Goal Planner. It was actually given to me as part of a coaching program I'm a part of with Jim Fortin. And I respect Jim Fortin greatly. So if he tells me to use something, I am going to use it. So I started using it and I recognized some resistance. I didn't really want to dive in. And so I went through that same curiosity that I just walked you through in step 3, which was, okay, why am I resisting it? What's coming up for me when I'm failing to use this planner on a daily basis? And I recognized those exact same fears starting to come up. And once we bring some awareness to what's going on in our brain, we can actually start breaking that down and it dissolves. So the awareness part of it is a big deal. Even having this planner and not using it is a big deal because it's showing you where it is that you have some blocks and some things that you need to think through. So I'm actually going to walk through right now. If I can, I may not be able to share my screen. Okay. I am going to link to some photographs of this because it's really amazing what it can do. And I might be able to show you in my own 90-day 90X goal planner because it's more than a day planner. I don't want you to think that this is something that is going to be like your Google Calendar, or it's going to be something where you're scheduling your dentist appointments and you have all these things that you have to do. No, this is specifically targeted at your goals because what you want to do is focus in on those goals so that you can break them down step by step. And one of the things that holds us back is having this huge goal and not knowing how to get there because we're not taking that step back. We're not taking that bird's eye view of what we need to do to get to where we want to go. And what the 90-day goal planner does is break that down. So if you have a 1-year goal of, let's say, writing a book, well, that book doesn't just all happen at once, right? You have to write the book. You have to think of ideas. You need to create the space in your life in order to do that. Maybe you need to have some creative outlets and some relaxation outlets to help you work quicker, better, easier, okay, so that it flows. Those are things that you need to incorporate into your life. So, for example, one of the things that the 90X Goal Planner does is break down the why behind your goals. So let's say you have some really big plans that you have that require some thought, right? So in this example that I'm going to show you, the goals are earning some money, earning $100,000. He's very specific about it. You want to be specific with your goals. You don't want them to be really general, like, I want a lot of money. Like this is, I will earn $100,000 from a combination of new contracts, a Kickstarter campaign, and new strategic investments. I am easily going to buy a home in Point Loma. I want it to be, and then fill in the blank. So it goes through his top 5 goals, breaking them down, and then breaking down the why. Why this particular goal, right? Like why this goal? And the reason you're doing that is to start getting your brain to practice breaking down what you want into the why. It's much easier for us to work from that why pulling us forward than just having the goal. Okay, let the why pull you forward towards your goal. And one of the things that I really enjoy about this book is that you're also self-coaching yourself, and every single day you're self-coaching yourself because you are reminding yourself of the why you are doing things, what you are doing, and then breaking them down into really really doable goals. All right, so you're rewriting your goals and you're rewriting your actions as you move forward. So whatever your 90-day goal is, to write 3 chapters and have them completed, edited, reviewed by somebody. Maybe at the same time you want to make some networking connections because you know that you're eventually going to want to publish this book. Then you want to come back and you want to revisit this. This is something that you do every day. So here is an example of what my goals are for the next few weeks, okay? So I rewrote my goals, okay? So I want to create an outline for an entire course and flesh it out, okay? So I've already got some of that done, but I clearly have more to do. I am prospecting for high quality podcast guests so that listeners of Soul Roadmap will love them. And then I'm also batching them so that I have an opportunity to have more time in my own business, and that is going to help me. Okay, so these are just my goals here, and then I also take action on them. And so I want to make sure that I'm writing down exactly what I'm going to do to complete those. So when you're going through this, you want to make sure that you're revisiting these pages. And he does this for you. He breaks down this 90X goal planner so that you're continually revisiting your goals. And when you're revisiting them, you're starting to solidify them in your brain. So what do I need to do in order to be successful with my goals? Well, in addition to having the 90-day breakdown, he breaks them down further into 30-day goals, and then breaks them down further into 1-week goals, and then into single day goals. So I'll show you what a single day goal looks like. This is what I want to do. So this is day 36. This is what it looks like of my 90 days. See if I can get that in there so it actually looks straight. So I know what I want to do. I know that I need to review the module, and each one of these on the side correspond to the 5 big goals that I have, and then I can break down my day accordingly. And in there, you're going to fit things like working out, meditation, journaling, whatever you need to do. And of course, you're going to have things like the dentist pop up. You want to create space for that in your life so that way you are doing what you need to be doing. And there's space in here as well, if you didn't notice on the other side, to write things that you still haven't been able to accomplish. Maybe something comes up and you can't do it. That is life, that happens. And then you can also write things down that you think of. So I've been using this as a journal. I've actually been writing things like, make sure that you continue to use the 90X goal planner because it's keeping you on track. Or I noticed that I had some resistance working on my new course. I'm having some fear around that. What is that fear? And I start filling in the blanks. So the fear is normal, and this helps you work through it. The procrastination is normal, and this helps you work through it. And if you procrastinate using this journal, then you know that you have some things to work through. So I wanted to share that with you because this tool has been really essential in getting me to understand some of the resistance that I'm feeling. And so understanding that that's normal and understanding that there are tools out there for you to work through them is essential for making sure that you reach your goal, because dreams are great. Taking action on them is essential. All right. So let's do a little overview of what we talked about. And while you're listening to this, tell me what your big goals are. Tell me in the comments, like, and what kind of fears do you have? What comes up for you? Does anything that I've just said resonated for you? And if you have a track for staying on point, for making your goals happen, what is it? Do you even have one? And it's okay if you don't. I mean, I didn't start out having all of these processes for myself and being able to work through everything just overnight. This is something that has taken years for me to learn and experience how it works for myself. This is not something that we're taught in school. It's not something that we are ever even expected to learn. In fact, a little bit about my story is that I was always a high achiever, and I always knew I wanted something better because I grew up in a really poor household. I didn't grow up in great neighborhoods, and I didn't like feeling poor. And it's a very interesting feeling to have when you don't feel comfortable in your own skin and you don't feel like you're wearing nice enough clothes, or you smell like cigarette smoke, and you have all these self-doubts already because you're a young kid, and all of these other things that are around you, these circumstances, they don't feel like they're within your control. And the one thing that I knew I had control over was my education and how well I did in school, and whether or not I got into a good college, and whether or not I studied hard for the LSAT, and whether or not I got into law school, and whether or not I got a great law job after law school. That's what I had control over. That, at least in my mind, that is what I thought. I never thought outside of that, because that was my goal the whole time, was to continue to be educated and to continue to learn enough so that I could eventually earn enough to not feel poor. That was my whole goal. But once I had all of that, once I felt comfortable in my own skin for the most part, I mean, there was still a lot of growing to do, and I still am growing every single day. Once I had that, I could take the next step and figure out, okay, well, what now? I've reached this goal. I've focused so intently on creating this life, but I didn't really think about the circumstances I was also creating that I did not want. The 50 to 70 hours working on trials and being in court all day and being in that constant stress bubble of being churned into a law firm, it did not feel good. It was not something that I really felt good about, and it also led to some health complications. So I wanted to make sure that I was treating myself the way I knew I needed to treat myself. That took a lot of time, and part of that had to do with creating these long-term goals and going into these 4 steps I'm about to review with you. So the very first thing that you want to do is build awareness, right? So we're creating awareness surrounding those goals. What is your goal? Tell me in the comments. And if you don't know those goals, then it's important that you start going through the work of doing the work so that you can learn what those goals are. Writing down exactly what it is that you want. I mean, picture it, smell it, taste it. I mean, I want you to live this dream, because you're getting that into your body to move through that fear. Your body's getting used to that. Your brain's getting used to that image of reaching this goal that you have, and it helps dissolve the fear. You also want to make sure that you are getting curious, that you're asking yourself where these fears are coming from, why you're procrastinating. And if you know that fear, tell me in the comments. This is something that we need to work on daily, because we hit resistance daily. Once you start recognizing that resistance and naming that fear, you can start working through it, and you can start to dissolve it. And then take a tool. A tool like the 90X Goal Planner is something that is essential if you need to organize your thoughts. And we all need to organize our thoughts. We all need to have an action plan, because if we don't take action, we're going to regret it. And when I talked to you at the beginning, that very real feeling of fear of having this huge goal and not having an idea of how to make it happen, A tool like the 90X Goal Planner helps you break it down from the bigger, it could be a 5-year plan, and then you break that down even further into 1 year, and you break that down even further into 90 days, and from that 90 days to 30, and from 30 to your week, and from that week to your day. Having something that organizes your thoughts, that gives you that bird's eye view of what's going on in your life to get you where you want to go is essential if you want to design the life you want. Not the one that your friends think you should have, not the one that your parents think you should have, the life that you think you should have. So once you've done that, once you have started to do the work, you are going to start to dissolve that fear. Getting into action dissolves that fear. All right? So let me know if you have questions about this. Was this helpful for you at all? Tell me in the comments, and let me know that you showed up, because showing up to something like this, that is putting in the work. The next step is to start taking what we just went through and putting it into action too. All right? So thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. And I have 2 things that you can do. So one, you can go to the link in this post and you can get yourself a 90X goal planner. Not a day planner, it's a goal planner. So make sure you get one. And even if you don't use it, that is going to tell you a lot about what's going on in your brain. It's going to tell you what resistance you're bumping up against. The second thing you can do, if you feel like you are ready to take massive action in your life, if you feel like you are just ready to go, and this is just like, it's like on the tip of your fingertips, you're almost there, or you're not even close to being there, but you know you want something, you're dreaming big, and you just need some help, you can contact me. You can apply for a free 30-minute discovery call. We can do some one-on-one coaching. That 30 minutes is meant to find out whether or not we would work well together, whether or not I can help you at all. If that feels something that feels good to you, then click the link in the post and I will talk to you soon. All right, bye for now.